going on, everybody? Andrew Gombis here to bring you a betting breakdown of Anthony Lionheart Smith versus Ryan Superman Spann. Before I do that, want to touch on a couple quick housekeeping items. So you may have noticed I introduced myself with my full name, doing a little bit of rebranding. I've been under MMA Knockout Bets for almost 4 years now, and just kind of sometimes felt myself wishing that I was using my real name instead. It's easier. People on Twitter know my name is Andrew, so I'm making that switch over, just using my real name now that I'm putting my face out there more. So I'm gonna be going by Andrew Gombis Bets, but I'll still keep the MMA Knockout Bets logo on my Twitter for a little, so you guys still recognize my tweets. Another thing I'm really excited to announce: I joined Sportsline this past week as an MMA analyst. Sportsline is a great site for betting insights. They have a bunch of really talented handicappers on there giving away picks, expert analysis, fantasy advice, DraftKings advice for all different kinds of sports. So they brought me on this past week as a MMA analyst. So on there, I'm going to be giving away my best bets of every card. Going to be doing an analysis for every UFC event, some other events as well. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll link it in the description of this video. If you want access to all my premium betting content right when it comes out, I'll link my Patreon in the bio as well. But it's been a crazy journey, guys. Haven't had a time to put out a video lately because I've obviously been preoccupied, been taping a ton of fights, been working on getting set up over at Sportsline, but happy to be back with you here today. As I had mentioned in the past, looking to get out some more content. So figured what better way to jump back into it than with a little main event breakdown of Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann. So in this fight, main event, 5-round main event, taking place on September 18th. We have Ryan Spann, who is coming off of a first-round finish over Misha Serkinov. He has won 4 out of his last 5 fights, only loss coming to Johnny Walker by first-round knockout. Anthony Smith, on the other hand, on a 2-fight winning streak, most recently defeated Jimmy Crute via doctor stoppage at the end of that first round. I was there in person for that. Crute's leg was done. I don't know. I can't remember if it was nerve damage or if he broke something, but yeah, Smith looked pretty good in that fight. I didn't have any bets on that fight. I actually haven't bet on either of these guys' last couple fights. But I probably will be looking at a spot here. The books have Anthony Smith between about -160 and -172 at the time of this recording. So that's about where things are at. And then from a prop perspective, they have the under 2.5 at -135. Fight doesn't go to decision, sitting at around -280, -300. So we've got a little bit to talk about today, guys. I personally, I'll start with Anthony Smith, my opinion on him. I actually am a little higher on Anthony Smith than most people are. I feel like he has some good, solid wins. I mean, Jimmy Crute's a good win. Alex Gustafson's a good win. And I bet on Gustafson in that fight, and I thought Anthony Smith really, really fought a good fight there. Volkan Ozdemir is another one. I mean, you can even go back a little further and say Shogun Rua, Rashad Evans, but you could also make the argument those guys were a little bit towards the end of their career. But yeah, if you look at the guys who Anthony Smith has lost to, it's Alexander Rakic, who a lot of people think might be the number one contender. Glover Teixeira, who is next for the 205 belt. He's fighting Jan Blachowicz in October. And then John Jones, who is one of the consensus GOATs of all time. So I think Anthony Smith gets a little bit of a bad rap by some people. I think he's a solid fighter, and I'm picking him to win this fight. He's 33 years old, stands 6'4". He actually has 50 pro fights, so that's a crazy amount of experience of Lionheart, as opposed to Ryan Spann, who has half as many fights. Not that it's a small number having 25 pro fights, but just compared to Anthony Smith's 50, he doesn't have some of the same experience. But Ryan Spann, 30 years old. He's 19-6 as a pro. As I mentioned earlier, coming off that first-round win over Misha Serkinov. Guy clearly has power. He's big. He has a nice guillotine he looks for sometimes, but I worry about his output at times. I think sometimes he could be lackadaisical, especially on the feet, where he's just kind of not doing enough. Where I don't want to say it was like he's not trying, but he's not always pushing a pace. I think Smith's going to be more active. I think Smith's going to be outlanding him. I think Smith's just a little bit better everywhere. I like Smith's boxing better. I like Smith's grappling better. I mean, Smith, you don't think of him as a grappler necessarily, but he's a black belt, and he holds his own in the grappling. I mean, he has a submission win over Volkan Ozdemir, which is solid. Ryan Spann, on the other hand, outside of that guillotine, I don't love fighters going for that, especially against a guy like Anthony Smith who does have that jiu-jitsu black belt. I feel like it's kind of low percentage, and unless you time it right, you probably end up on your back. So I feel if they do get in grappling exchanges here, that Anthony Smith's probably going to be the guy on top. And again, I also trust Anthony Smith down the stretch cardio-wise. I mean, if you look at Ryan Spann's last few fights, it's first round. He has one decision mixed in there. Second round, first round. So he doesn't see the third round very often. And keep in mind, this is a five-round fight. As we know, Anthony Smith has fought 5-round fights before. He went into the fifth with Glover Teixeira. He went all 5 with John Jones. He submitted Alex Gustafsson in the 4th round. So I feel like you just have to trust him a little bit more down the stretch here. Spann does have that power. He does have that finishing upside, but Anthony Smith's a pretty durable guy too. I mean, it took Glover 24 minutes to finish that fight. John Jones couldn't finish Smith, and Alex Rakic couldn't finish Smith, even though his leg was pretty much done after a round. So long story short, I think there is a little value on Anthony Smith still. I'd probably cap him around 70%. I haven't bet it yet because I feel like money might still come in on Spann. So as of right this second, I have no plays on the fight, but I will be looking to bet on Anthony Smith probably sometime in the next 24 hours or so, maybe on fight day. I expect a little bit of Spann money to come in. I've seen some takes for him on here, but I'm picking Anthony Smith to get the win and make it 3 in a row. Wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if Ryan Spann catches him, but I feel like he needs a finish in this fight. If it does go if it does go the distance, which I don't really think it will, I think Smith probably puts him away. But if it does go the distance, I like Smith to get his hand raised. I think Smith's probably the more well-put-together grappler. And Smith's probably the more well-put-together striker, too. So I think Spann needs to hurt him, which, again, like I said, is possible. I just think it happens at a lower clip than the odds suggest. So I'm going with Anthony Smith in this fight. I have plenty of other fights that I've bet on this card. If you want all of my premium betting content, linked in the description below is my Patreon. I'll be putting out an article for Sportsline next week for Volkanovski versus Ortega. I have a max bet on that fight, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then I'm going to try something different. Never done this before, but I think Saturday for the fights, I'm actually going to go live and kind of do a little bit of a live betting Discord. So I have been posting my live bets on Twitter for a while, and all the time I get responses like, dude, you're the best live better. These are a great spot, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to go live just how I am right now. I'm going to have one screen with me on right here and then another screen right here which has the fights on. I'm going to talk you through my live betting process, tell you what I'm live betting right when it happens so you guys can bet it too and hopefully get in on some of the winnings. But if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Again, Patreon in the bio. I'm going to share the Sportsline bio as well. Really happy Sportsline link in my bio. Really happy to be joining them. It's a great company. Funny story, I cold emailed the guy who runs the company 4 years ago. So in 2017, when I was in college, said, hey, you guys don't have an MMA analyst. Let me be that guy. Guy's name is Larry. Really nice man. Gave me an interview. Really liked me, but didn't have the budget to hire an MMA analyst. I guess he stayed up to date with all my stuff. And so 4 years later, he reached out to me and he said, Andrew, hey, do you still want to come work at Sportsline? Like we have a job for you. Here's the offer. And I said, yeah. And long story short, it's just funny how life works out. If something doesn't happen in the immediate future, it doesn't mean it can't happen down the line. So I say shoot your shot, boys and girls. And excited to be working with Sportsline, excited to be providing you betting content this weekend. I'll post a link in the description or maybe in the comments for my live betting Discord. If you're interested in that, let me know. I'll make sure we're all set up to hopefully make some money live betting. But again, appreciate the time, guys. Enjoy the fights and enjoy your weekend.